Hey everybody, Coach Chris here. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit with Jesse Ellison, our lead pitching instructor, about the 4-week reconditioning program that we're going to do. We've sent it out to all your coaches, and we're going to attach some videos to this video outlining the dynamic warm-ups that we're going to put you guys through, the stretching, the throwing program, and the conditioning. Okay, so we're going to attack 4 weeks with the intent of June 10th. Hopefully we'll be back to baseball. But before then, we've got to do this safely and the right way to make sure that everybody gets back on the field in time and ready to play, and not a moment before that. So I'm gonna spin this around. Jesse, if you to us about what was the purpose of this program? Where did it come from, and why'd you write it in the way that you did?
The reason I wrote it the way that I've been on both sides. I've been well prepared to play a season that was going to be longer than 20, 30 games, and I've been on the other side, what led to my injury. And what I knew was trying to rush too early. I've been the kid that tried to throw for 2 weeks and then hit it full speed, and then I found out 2 weeks later I was in an injury, and which led to me, stopping, my professional baseball career. So when we look at our kids, and we're invested into them, you have to, do this with fidelity. And this is something that we can monitor, and there's a progression thing that you have to get back into it. So, and if you look at each of the weeks, it's gonna get you into where that we can play through October.
Right.
You can't start this a week and expect all of the throwers' arms to be 100% ready. And that's the reason why we did it like that, and the conditioning and the stretching to go with it.
Right.
So if they can't get to the practice field, but they can definitely have this to do.
They can do it at home.
Stuff. So every one of those, if you really look at it, it's 10 to 20 throws extra per day or per week, which is going to lead you to a weekend game.
Sure.
Where they're going to be in there on a Friday, Saturday. And that's what we got to look at. It's not just about putting them back on the field.
Right.
It's about, we don't want to put them back on the field and then a week later we got to go see, you go to CHKD for physical therapy, see what's wrong with our arm. But we did too much too fast.
Right.
It's like with anything else, the more prep we have, and you got to at least prep for a month. Your body's going to respond to it. Just to get used to the stuff. You're going to experience some soreness in a week. That okay, here's what we lead to. That's why you can't just play for a week or 2 weeks and get going. So the program is something that we use in spring training that a lot of guys use now. I mean, major leaguers, if they go back, they're going to prep for a month. The same thing that we're going to do, and we have to treat our kids because we're giving them that kind of schedule. So that's why the running and the throwing, and it's really, we talk about pitching, there's more for throws. Everybody who's going to make those shortstop, those center field, the catchers. So that's the main reason why, it's just with fidelity, and it's something that we can, capture in numbers, to make sure that when we finish our season, we're healthy.
Right. So when I look at the program, it doesn't look like a lot of throws. Is it going to be enough to get them? Are they going to feel sore? Should they feel sore? Or
in this program, they should feel like they haven't done enough, because when they get towards the back of the pull downs and they get to their 10 last, they should feel like, oh, I can do more. They should not be tired getting through it, and that's an indicator. So every kid, every break, you'll see where they are. Like it's enough throws, but over a course of a game, a shortstop is going to probably make 20 100% throws across the diamond, and that's really everywhere. The pitcher is going to do the most.
Right.
So of course they would have the most. The little guys, if we're doing it right, they should be 10 to 15 throws, at full speed. So it's a progression to get to that.
Right.
And like you don't miss anything. You should feel like you should be able to do more versus I'm gassed, I'm trying to push through this.
Right.
And you shouldn't feel like that.
Right.
So when we release them, they're like, oh, I got a whole lot. And that's what you want. You want to play 100% all the way through October, from start to finish, not breaking down in August, September, just barely getting through. That's why this is designed, truly put together with fidelity to get through.
Build up through June.
100%.
Start in July and kind of hit the middle of your season, August, September.
100%.
Okay.
And that's why we do it like this. You mile it off. The same thing the professionals would do. They put that 2 months in, because they're getting ready to go out there for 4, 5, 6 months of baseball.
Right.
So that's the reason why we did it with that number to start out. It won't seem like much, but I'm gonna tell you, when you get out there and if you've done everything, your first game is gonna be like, oh, I can do much more.
So we've sent it out to the coaches to do 2 days a week. Is that going to be enough, or should they push for a third day? Or if they're only doing 2 days a week, should the player try to go through it with his mom or his dad or his brother on a Saturday, Sunday on his own, or what do you think?
So I wrote this on the conservative side. It can be done for a third day with light tossing.
Okay.
I wouldn't push through, there shouldn't be anything full speed on that day. You can stay at the 75% mark throughout it, but follow that program for the first 2 days and you'll definitely feel it.
Okay.
And you and just constantly get feedback, whether it's the parent or the coaches, and like, hey, how's your arm feel? Like, oh, I don't feel anything. That's good.
Sure.
If you're doing everything right, and then you walk through it, because what happens is, during a travel ball season, they're probably gonna be a Saturday, Sunday we're gonna play a baseball game,
right?
And there might be 2 other days of practice. So we're looking at 4 days that they're gonna be doing some type of throwing if you're doing it right.
Right.
And at the Saturday, Sunday at the high speed. So it's okay to do a third day, just playing catch and just keeping repeating those movements, but being able to throw it at the 50% to 75% mark will be plenty.
Right. So what about like bullpens? As far as, they're not going to be throwing bullpens at the field during practice. At home on weekends, should we hold off on bullpens with dad or with brother at home until we get at least into week 3, week 4 before we start doing some?
Yeah, I wouldn't get on the mound until into the 3rd or 4th week. And you can go on the 4th week, because even if we're playing at the 4th of July mark, we're not going to ask any kid to throw any more than 1 or 2 innings.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
And everything in that, and those flat grounds are serving as your bullpens.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need that until your body has responded to some things mechanically. The minute you put a mound in place,
right,
your body's not ready for that until you learn to move at that place. That's why everything is done longer than that and control that. So when you get on the mound, it's really easy.
Okay.
You don't want the mound to compromise, your mechanics. And then when you get on the mound, you feel like it's 100%, and it's never really that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just to get an idea of where it's going. You can do everything without that mound for the first month, and I strongly recommend you stay off the mound and just really think about preparing your arm and your body to throw.
Right. So we're going to do this for a month, and that should lead right to around the June 10th time frame. How should we approach the rest of June into July? Should players be at 100% come June 10th after doing this for a month, or should they start to take that next step? That should be the full-time practice. Spend the month of June practicing.
So with that, when we introduce the mound, right around after that 30-day mark, you can easily incorporate hitting and get into live practice where your bullpens are an inner squat.
Right.
A monitor inner squat, and I think that'll be fine to get a feel of where they are. Versus we can do it. The minute you step on the mound, you can introduce hitters.
Right.
And I think that's always been what we've done from college to professional baseball. Like in an inner squat format to find out where you are. So that's I think that's fine. But you should truly do arm care first with everything else, arm progression before you do anything else, just to getting out, to throw, to get loose. But to jump right into a full practice,
right?
You need to take care of your arm. Your arm has to be ready to throw,
right?
In that capacity.
Sure.
That's another separate set of throwing that you have to do, across the diamond and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for your time. I'm gonna spin. Guys, I just wanted to let you know this is a longer season than we've ever done. Okay, so we're gonna start now. We're gonna go all the way till October. So it was written exactly with the intent of what you just heard Coach Ellison say. And we had to tailor it to the idea that not every player has been training over the last 2 months. Okay, so we can't write it to your best, most athletic player or the guy that's been going out and training with his dad 2 or 3 days a week. No, as a team, as an organization, we had to tailor this so that we were writing it to those guys that don't have anybody at home. Okay, so stick with it. As we always say, trust the process. We're going to get through it. And then before you know it, it'll be the middle of July and we'll be back to running full speed. But Jesse, thank you for your time. And we'll talk to you guys soon.